One of the things that I see people do when they're chipping or pitching is that they don't hinge or load the club properly in the backswing. They'll move the club with very little wrist hinge. Now, if I set up and we make a triangle with the bottom of the triangle down where the club head is, that club head needs to move more than the pieces going up the sides of the triangle. So this club head has to move more than this end has to move more than this end. So I see people, very little wrist hinge, and they get back to here. Now from here to power the golf club, they're going to thrust their hands forward this way. So they're actually creating lag when they start that swing down. Now from here, this club is kind of gotten shorter, right? As I move the handle this way, this end is going to go back that way. So they're actually making the club shorter when they start down. So now from here, they're going to have some kind of slide and dip to try and get the club head down to the ball, and a last minute hands motion to try and make contact with the ball. And that's where I think a lot of people that struggle with pitching and chipping feel like they're getting too handsy, is because at that very last minute, there's a last ditch attempt to try and get the club head onto the golf ball. So what I like to see is that head end move quite a bit more than the grip end. And what you'll notice is this end, the grip end of the golf club, doesn't really move too much outside of my body. I'm not making a big motion back with the club getting wide and away from me. It's going to stay fairly close to my body. So when we go back and we hinge from here, I'm going to want to start down feeling like this club head is moving down. I'm kind of pushing a little bit with my right hand to get the club head down and into the golf ball. What I'm not doing is going back with no wrist hinge, shoving my hands forward, leaning back, and adding wrists right at impact. I'm actually starting the wrists right here to unload that club. So in order for me to unload it, I have to load it going back. If I was to go back here with no load and then try and unload it, that club head is going to get in front this way like that. So there's a few little setups and how you release the club depending on the kind of shot you want to hit. So we're going to look at the low shot first of all. So our feet are going to be fairly close together, and I'm going to set up so the ball will be opposite the big toe of my back foot. I'm also going to take the club head and just turn it in just a little bit. I'm still going to go back, load the club, and I'm going to unload it so it feels like it comes back to the same position it's set up here. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and let the club release. So I'll show you that down the line this way. I'm going to let this club release and rotate through this way. That's going to have the ball come out a little bit lower and with less spin, so it's going to hit the green and run. So the next would be the kind of the middle shot, or maybe your stock shot. So again, feet close together, ball's going to be in the middle. Again, I'm going to go back, I'm going to load the club. From here, I'm going to let it release down to the same position that I felt at impact. And then I'm going to let this release, and I'm going to have a little bit of turn. So the club is going to kind of be pointing up this way, almost matching my spine here. And the club's going to kind of be out at like a 45-degree angle. So that's going to be the medium shot. And then the high shot, the ball's going to be up by my big toe on my front foot. I'm going to open the club face quite a bit. And I'm going to have this shaft kind of vertical here. Again, I'm going to load it going back. I might even load this a little bit quicker this way and get a little bit more load. And then when I come down, I'm going to try and unload this faster. When I'm hitting this one back here for the low shot, I'm unloading the club slower. And for this high shot, the high soft one, I'm going to unload that faster so I can feel like I get back to the position I was at setup. So a little more load, unload faster, and then we're actually going to let this right hand kind of almost scoop under this way to keep the club face open. So if I show you that this way, we're going to scoop under so you can see the face of the club is pointing back at my face. So lots of load, unload fast, and let it hinge back up so that the face is pointing close to you. Now, with these 3 release patterns, there's also something to do with the grip end of the golf club. When I'm hitting the low one and I release, this grip end is far away from me. When I'm hitting the high one, this grip end here is close to me, and that's all to do with how quickly you unload that club. Okay, and then the middle one is going to be kind of between those two. So, quick recap. Low one, slower unload, let the club release. Butt end of the club is far away from me. Middle one, load, moderate unload, release, club kind of matches my spine, a little bit away from me. High one, lots of load, fast unload, face pointing back at me, butt end close to me. So that's 3 different shots on how we load, unload, and release the club.